country, I walk by a gun. Wale, cause that is what they promise we. A lot's going on in the sun. So I come here to bring wisdom, so we don't burn down. We lovely society. See, a new government has the assignment to put we country into alignment. But every time they read us with their ego, it's the vulnerable who feeling that blow. Lord, is it ignorance or is it arrogance? I don't know what to call it in this instance. Look at paradise right in front we eyes, but we still want to talk about who we despise.
Tell me where else can we go?
If we start to mash up the good things we know.
Tell me where else can we go?
If we treat we traditions like a Barbie show, you could fix everything on we island. Put gunships on we back like a tyrant. You could put 10 radars all up Scarborough. But don't forget,
this is Trinidad.
We love we freedom, and every citizen will agree that no oppression will be accepted by our Trini. We come from long days on the ground, working hard until daylight come, so we'll see it wrong to be a financial donkey. Cause every day we see a new taxation that causing a new kind of sufferation. And when you don't create that irritation, you send police to fix with desperation. Lord, where's the common sense? Where's the true intent to make you think oppression is relevant? Don't be shocked, my friend, when we start to bend and you see them placards in front of the Parliament.
Tell me where else can we go?
If we little children are not free to grow.
Tell me where else can we go?
If they try to ban the words in the calypso, you could try to stop social media or the taping of police murders. You could rewrite a bill like this also. But don't forget, this is Trinidad. Take one look around. Even lingo and all could see confusions in tongue, and it's affecting everybody. Politicians and Facebook trolls, even Kaisonians lost their role. The world's upside down, and I'm worried for my country. Cause every day I see victimization, racial and social aberration. We saying is love and need to go wrong, but we spreading this thing like a toxin. Man, things getting so tense, some can't pay their rent, and the effect of this feeling permanent. But what scares me though, just so that you know, is the money we about to borrow.
Tell me where else can we go?
If the IMF start to pull we toe.
Tell me where else can we go?
If we toilet paper start to run too low, you could stress out the sea pepper worker. Take a fool and make him a leader. You could change every board cause it's your show. But don't forget, this is Trinidad. I know it's good intentions. We Prime Minister have for we, but brutal measures would only me cause rebellion in TNT. I what cause Cambule in times of old. And it's so the story unfold. It's that rebellion that give we people identity. So careful how you deal with we intellect. Cause DNA remembers every aspect. Not every time we cry is just politics. Your mind could start to play you some dirty tricks. Look, remember that honor comes before minister. And that's why we give you so much power. So don't let us down and don't let us frown. We need to see our 360 turn around.
Tell me where else can we go?
If your promises start to look untrue,
Tell me where else can we go?
if your own voters losing trust in you, you could do what you want with what intent. You could bat up the independent bench. You could change the country that we once know. But don't forget, this is Trinidad.
Experiencing a global phenomenon with serious issues mankind choose to fool around. Then they go find out facing real consequences that when you play goatish games you win foolish prizes. The mighty US of A, look how them in disarray because they forget the first dose of madness. So with the short-term memory, they welcome back Donald T to give that fascist a second term in office. But after they take the bait and they realize what's the fate, enough of them want to change the vote, but it is too late. You see the FA, FO, I see the FA, now they go FO. Plenty immigrants made their choice. Uncle Donald they supporting, but he put their support on ice and themselves he start deporting. FA, FO, I said the FA, now they go FO. But now Donald breaks in because it now so keen. He naming the Epstein files, so they now studying like they voting a presidential pedophile. FA, FO, I said the FA. Now they go FO. You see when you're ever wrong, there's no doubt. Even Uncle Sam will find out that what's our in bam bam starts sweet in the mouth. When you shout FA, FO, I tell you that is, tell them that is the call. Oh, say, can you see? You see the call? Come in. Trinidadian love all fours, you know that is the truth. So when America trump, we just follow suit. If them MAGA morons is America's concern, well, we present government is easily the clones. From 2010 to 15, the tenure was so obscene. Scandalize the land and destroy we economy. But like we missed the free-for-all, incompetence and bubble. So we bring them back to finish mash up the country. And as they assume their roles, I set a square peg in wrong holes. Now plenty people who help them win at the polls. Feel the FA, FO. They say the FA, now they go FO. The two worst Alexanders in the world and team make ministers. One is a racist troll and one need a West Indian first primer. FA, FO. I said the FA, now we go FO. Meanwhile, Tanti setting up TNT in people worship we in place. She should have led the Yankee army, plant the red eye in shipping. girl is F-A, F-O. I said the F-A, now she go F-O. You see when you're F-A wrong, there's no doubt. Persona non grata must find out that what's our in bam bam starts sweet in she mouth. Sing it out, F-A, F-O. I tell you that is, tell them that is the code. Cause when code yellow wins, corruption begins. Where's the real code? Let me talk to the duck. Duck, you had the mandate of most of the electorate, not to mention the support of your party base. Somehow you took that to mean you could manipulate and dictate the decision of who should take your place. And because you were the top dog, you move like an overlord. You find when you tell them jump, they should have asked how high. You set out to sway the vote, offer up a young scapegoat to just get a kobo sweat after you say bye-bye. You delay party convention, play with party constitution, and figure you could have gerrymander the outcome. But your F.A., F.O., got your F.A., and then your F.O. You chain up the young man for truth to snap the election fingers fast. Although every poll warn you that would have be a shortcut as F.A., F.O. Got your F.A., now all of we F.O. So for your voters who stayed away, you certainly have a part.
Coming soon to Constructive Talk Network, Critical Thinkers. It's a youth show with a youth perspective on current affairs and issues in Trinidad and Tobago. Critical Thinkers, youth perspective on Constructive Talk. Final Hour Christian Ministries invites you to their annual Visitors Day service. End of days. Where are we in 2026? On Saturday, April 25th, 2026 at 11 a.m. Mandela Hall Center of Excellence with Pastor Mackenzie and the Final Hour family. See you there.
The information provided by the speakers and or presenter on Facebook and YouTube is for general informational purposes only. All information is provided in good faith. However, Constructive Talk makes no representation or warranty of any kind, express or implied, regarding the accuracy, adequacy, validity, reliability, availability, or completeness of this information.
Well, good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Good evening to those of you locked on to Constructive Talk. It is Thursday, the 6th, what is this? The 16th of April 2026. The week and the months are flying, boy. But what can we do? Live life to the fullest. And make sure when you're living life to the fullest, you put God at the center of it. Make sure that everything that you do, you give him the honor, glory, and praise that is due to his name. This evening, I promised you that I would have a guest from Tobago. He is on the phone line. I'm going to introduce him in a short bit, but I need you to do one thing for me. As you're coming on to the live, please share the live and also tell somebody from Tobago that they need to be on, because part of this evening's program is dedicated to the people in Tobago. Alright? So I'll say that one more time. Part of the program this evening is dedicated to people in Tobago. So I want to be able to talk to my brothers and sisters in Tobago. I want them to be a part of the program in a real good way. Alright? Be a part of the program. I want them to be a part. So I want to dedicate part of the phone lines and everything to, you know, our viewers and listeners in Tobago. So if you have family in Tobago, and as you come on, 313 of you are already on the live, as you come on the live, please. All right, I'm seeing somebody from Caller Hall is already on the inside. All right, so as you're coming in, wherever you're coming in from, let me know what areas you're coming in from so that we can, identify. North Carolina also is on the inside. Good evening to you. All right, so let me introduce my guest who is already on the phone line, ready and raring to go. This man don't make joke, Yeah, he don't make joke. Hello, good evening, sir.
What's up, brother Google? What's up? What's up, my brother?
Wee boy, what going on, sir? Long time we ain't talk. Long time not talk.
Long time no see. Long time no hear. But we good over here, brother.
You sure, boy?
Yeah, man. Let me also shout out to your guests, all our wonderful people online, citizens of the great Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and the diaspora as well. I know you have many followers from abroad as well. So let me say a pleasant good night. Good night to everyone.
Yeah, boy. It's a pleasure to have you on Constructive Talk this evening. So
yes,
much is
it's
happening.
Been a while.
So much is happening. This evening, I said I would have gotten in contact with you or Shamfa to get you all on to let us know what is going on in Tobago. I find like I ain't hearing, I ain't seeing. In order for me to know what's going on, I have to go on your status.
The thing heating up, but heating up with love and respect and dignity, Yeah. I told somebody today. So, in Tobago usually lead the way in how we should do things in this great party, the PNM, and therefore the way how we are conducting this internal elections is how I think, when Dr. Oli brought, proposed the one man, one vote, I think that is how we envisage it to be, where we can compete, and have healthy discussions as to how we can strengthen our party, but at the same time, we do it in a way that really demonstrates unity, dignity, and respect for one another, so that after all is said and done, whoever emerges as the leadership team, we recognize that we are one united PNM fighting for one similar cause under one vision of improving and bettering the lives of both the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, I'm really happy to hear that. I'm really, really happy to hear that, So, before we get into the internals, what is happening in Tobago? How is life in Tobago? I saw last week, not last week, this week, while I was doing my program, somebody from Tobago messaged and they said, hey, it hard in Tobago, it hard.
Well, I was now going to tell her in the words of one of my Rastafarian friend. The man tell me we catching we ras.
Wow.
So things. And it appears that even now the island seems to be on standstill. Nothing significant is happening except for some patching. That is what passes for governance and for progress in Tobago. The patching of roads. And beside that, the construction sector is at a standstill.
But why though? You can't tell us why, because people wouldn't believe that Mr. After all that was said on the campaign trail for the Tobago House of Assembly election, I don't think people would believe what you are saying to be true. I think people would think that development is on the way.
Well, the proof is in the eating, and I invite anyone to come visit Tobago, and you would see for yourself. You drive around the island, and you're seeing the same abandoned projects. If you pass the Dwight York, as you approach the Dwight York Stadium, you would see a steel frame there, which is supposed to be the Backlet Indoor, the Bertil Sinclair Backlet Indoor facility, and notwithstanding the promises that they gave during the elections that they would treat with that project and commence that project remains at a standstill. You go up to Goodwood. There's another facility there which was started on the PNM that is 4 years, going on 5 years now ago. And that it was a pavilion for the people of Goodwood. That project remains abandoned. You go up even into the constituency of the Chief Secretary, where there was to be a multi-purpose facility at Charlottesville. And as far as I know, they started some construction there just before the election, and it's still incomplete. You go across to Bloody Bay on the north side. They started something there for the Blue Food, and they rushed and did some kind of aesthetic works just before the Blue Food of last year. But after that, again, it's back to square one, standstill, abandoned. So abandonment seems to be the word of the day in Tobago. As I said, little to nothing. The latest is, just as in Trinidad, 2 contracts given out to 2 contractors from outside of Tobago, over $250 million or so, and without any and when you look at the procurement process, very questionable as well. So what obtains in Trinidad is what obtains in Tobago at this time, and therefore there's a little difference between the TPP and the UNC.
Wow, that what you're seeing there is sad, because
and to top that up, the infamous procurement of those ambulances.
Yes,
that remains a scandal of epic proportion, because even now the ambulances that is paid over $18 million, $1.4 million per ambulance, the most expensive ambulances to be procured in the world, those ambulances remain unavailable to the people of Tobago. So much so that is my understanding that even with that tragic experience of young Sadie, the response was over 1 hour delayed. And the average response time for an ambulance is between 15 to 30 minutes max. And therefore, we continue to suffer because of the incompetency and, in some instances, the deliberate corruption and dishonesty of this TPP administration.
This is with that, and you know what some of my callers will call and say, this is where we need PNM lawyers to now come forward, put in a file a motion of to the Integrity Commission, not integrity, to the what do you call them?
OPR?
Yes, just like what they did for HDC. Look what happened.
That matter. So let me share with you. That matter is a matter I have been following with. In fact, that is a matter I've given a lot of my time and dedication to. Had to travel to Trinidad a number of times to provide. So that matter is alive and well with the OPR. As a matter of fact, it is quite interesting because that matter is one where the OPR is awaiting. It is all based on my last conversation, it's about 90% completed. However, there are 3 key witnesses at the TRHA that the TRHA is deliberately blocking utilizing state funds, hired a senior counsel to frustrate the process and to prevent those witnesses from giving a statement. And therefore, this is a matter I intend to treat with in the public domain and ensure that the Tobago right-thinking, decent, honest citizens put pressure on Mr. Augustine and his administration to allow those public servants to provide the OPR with a statement, because that is the only thing that they are now waiting on to complete the investigation. And as I can tell you without fear of contradiction, that some of the claims made by a whistleblower is alarming.
Oh, so it is
So it's both that matter is under investigation with the OPR.
Right.
Just yesterday, the senior investigator at ACIB, because they would have called, that matter is also being investigated by the Anti-Corruption Investigative Bureau. And they have sent me back my statement for me to just confirm, read over and confirm the statement. And once that is done, they too are progressing quite nicely with investigation into that matter. So there's 2 investigations ongoing with respect to those ambulances, one at the level of the Office of the Procurement Regulator and the other at a criminal investigation at the Anti-Corruption Investigative Bureau.
You know what I would like for you to do before we move on? Do you have any of those videos, like news videos of what? Because I just want to remind my viewers.
Yeah, let me see if I should be able to have some news reports on that. Let me see what I can pull up. All right, so perhaps you may have to give me a minute just to get access to my files.
Beautiful. So while I wait for you to get access to your files and you do what you have to do, because you see, viewers and listeners, it's important for you all to understand exactly what Kelvin is talking about. You see, some of you, because it may have gone out of your memory. It may not be present in your mind right now, because the THA election is over, the TPP win, and people believe, well, okay, all those allegations are null and void, and it doesn't make any sense. And why are you all having that discussion? Because the people in Tobago would have voted for that. So why continue have the discussion about it? Because it says that it is irrelevant. It is not. Because based on what my brother from Tobago is saying to me, it is not irrelevant. It is an ongoing matter. And just like how, we would have brought up the issue here about the contractors from HGC, we would have shown videos. I would have taken you all back to when the Privy Council said to TN Ramnath that they have questions to answer. And then you heard Stuart Young in a press conference say they have questions to answer. And everybody now saying, hey, these contracts are questionable. You see what the OPR did? The OPR pulled it. And we will talk about that later on. We will get into that later on. But what I'm saying to you, Trinidad and Tobago, and especially to the people in Tobago who are listening, this ambulance matter is not one to sweep under the carpet. It is not one for you all to pretend and to behave as though it doesn't exist. It never existed. It still is a front burning issue. Right? So we're going to get the videos of the news items concerning those ambulance and the concerns that people had about those ambulance that still exist up to today. It exists up until today. So reality of it is that we need not to bury our heads in the sand, because there are things that are happening in Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension the world, and we can't just ignore. We cannot ignore. Look, last night, Commander Dindial brought it to our awareness. This gas issue is happening all around the world. And lo and behold, I pull up a video clip of what's happening in the UK. And we saw where the UK is worried about what is going to happen at the end of this month, because they have used up all their reserves, Where gas is concerned, the UK has admitted that they have used up all of their reserves. So we need not to bury our heads in the sand, pretend as though things are happening, while things are happening in Trinidad and Tobago that we need to keep on the front burner. we need to keep on the front burner. So when my brother looks for the video, we're going to continue to let you all know that I have a guest this evening from Tobago, Team Unity, Mr. Kelvin Morris, and he is here, not just to talk about the Tobago internal elections, but to even give us an update on what's going on in Tobago, what is happening in Tobago, and why it's Tobagonians are very quiet. I find it's very quiet. I'm not hearing much. But Tobagonians are going through, just like how Trinidadians are going through. Right? Trinidadians are going through. Well, they don't know. But yeah, Trinidadians are facing it, and there are some people who are pretending as though nothing is happening. You ready for my brother?
Yeah, yes, I think I sent you one clip. I was trying to load up another clip, but it's not. So let me know if it's working. I sent it to.
Which one is it?
Yeah, let me know if.
I get it. All right.
I sent it to the other number.
All right, let's see if this one will work. Boom, boom, boom. Which one is this? All right, let me see if this will work. All right. That is in the House of Assembly.
Yeah.
All right, let me see if this one will work. All right, and I know there were some news articles also. Like what's her name?
Giving you. Let me see.
This girl from TV6. What's her name again?
Yeah, I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna send you a link from. Let me see. I sent one there to you.
All right, let me see if this will work. Because I really want the viewers and them to understand that this is not a game. These things really happened. And Tobagonians are feeling the effects of it now. So, you want to let us share the live, Yeah, we need to let us share the live and tell people. Tell people what's going on. Yeah, man. So, in the meanwhile, while we're getting this organized here, it's good to know that this is still on the front burner.
Yes.
And that you haven't given up on it. And that you're not allowing it to die.
No, we have to keep them accountable. We cannot, not because it's 50, they won our 15 seats, we cannot allow them to go unchecked, because ultimately, at the end of the day, it is important that there's some level of checks and balances in governance, because in a democracy, without an opposition, you're really in an oligarchy kind of system, and therefore it is important now, the PNM, especially in Tobago, organizes itself and utilizes all resources, all our talents, all our skills. We still have a lot of valuable assets in Tobago. You have Shamfor, you have Ansel, you have myself, you have a lot of young politicians coming to the fray, and also you have the former stalwarts. You still have persons like Mr. Charles, former political leader and chief secretary. They are all available for the party. So what we have to do is be able to bring everybody together. We have to unite the party. And once we are able to do that, and then treat with the different internal challenges, rebuilding and strengthening our party groups, re-engaging our membership as well, making them, we have some issues with members feeling, undervalued, etc. We have to do some reconciliation, going back and having honest conversations amongst ourselves. There are people who are hurting for one reason or the other. We really have to get back to the roots of the party. We have to be able to, have the kind of modern communication channels, etc., so that we can reach people where they are. And then the youth vote is something we have been losing, in a big way in Tobago, and therefore we have to find a way how to connect to the young people. We have to understand where, their trends, what are the things that moves them, that keeps them ticking. And, we know that they are into a more, they're very easily, they like fashion, what is fashionable and that kind of thing. So we have to be able to be appealing to them as well. We have to be able to be attractive to them. And therefore, in some instances, we have to package what we are doing specific to the different audiences as well.
I hear you. Let me play this video for our viewers. Viewers, take a look at this. Take a listen to this, actually.
That there was in fact irregularities in the procurement of those not working dysfunctional ambulance. That is a shame and a stain on this current administration. Over $25 million spent, and up to the day, Tobagonians cannot ride properly in those ambulances. 2 came to Tobago for Carnival and 2 went back. So we are now leasing again 4 ambulances from the Trinidad Supply Unimed. And if that is not the epitome and the real value of how this administration has failed, that ambulance gate is a testament to the greatest procurement scandal in the history of the CHA. Mr. Deputy Presiding Officer, I wave in my hands a 20-page report, 20-page witness statement with over 18 points of documentary evidence to validate that there was in fact irregularities in the procurement of those not working dysfunctional ambulance. That is a shame and a stain on this current administration.
I sent you another clip there.
Yeah, I'm going to play that one now, but this is alarming.
It's yeah. And to think that rather than punish them, they got an additional seat is almost mind-boggling to me.
Mind-boggling alone? Mind-boggling alone, you say?
$25 million.
This is real madness.
Yet none of the ambulances, none is functional at this time. That is scandalous. It is outrageous. It is, it is sad, because while that is happening, you have persons who, families are telling you they have lost loved ones because they were waiting on an ambulance that never came. We have had emergencies. This is not the first emergency at Pigeon Point. There was a tourist got into some difficulty at Pigeon Point and had to wait hours before an ambulance was available to come to the rescue. So this issue is not just, about just the mismanagement and the corruption in the procurement, but it's also the actual, how you have left the vulnerability of our entire health response system or emergency response system has basically fallen apart, and it is now compromised.
Well, let's listen to this other one that you sent me. I think this is in news, the news clip of itself. Let's take a listen to this one.
Investigation and request for documentation re-allegations of an irregularity in procurement proceedings was sent to Minority Leader Kelvin Morris. The email said, quote, "The Office of Procurement Regulation, the OPR, has received your complaint relative to an alleged irregularity in procurement proceedings against the Tobago Regional Health Authority, the TRHA, in relation to the supply and delivery of ambulances for the TRHA fleet. Pursuant to Section 41 of the Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Property Act 2015 as amended, the OPR has commenced an investigation into the allegations made. This letter serves to inform you that Mr. Byron Daniel, Ms. Melissa Ramswar Singh, and Mr. Pratish Ranjan have been appointed as duly authorized officers of the OPR in the investigation of the matter captioned above, in accordance with Section 43(1) of the Act. Morris has been given notice to appear in person at the Office of Procurement Regulation to supply documents, records, and information, and to supply a written statement to the authorized officers. Morris was told he can consult with and retain legal representation who can accompany him if he so desires. Only on Monday, the Minority Leader revealed an ambulance hidden at a garage in the Calderhall district. Back in June, the chairman of the TRHA board, Chrislyn Moore, told a news conference that, quote, "We have feeding problems. We have training issues that we are going to resolve. We have specifications that we have added to the service providers, things that we did not ask for, but that we have decided that we needed. And so we are. I don't want to say we are retrofitting, but we are adding. We are beefing up the ambulances." That news conference was held following allegations of problems with one of the 3 ambulances bought by the TRHA. The procurement process started in 2022 when specifications were developed by an in-house team of specialists. The fleet in Tobago at that time was 6 vehicles, of which 2 are leased and 4 have been refurbished. Elizabeth Williams, TV6 News.
Wow. Wow, Tobagonians only shocked me. I only still went on for DC Pro Boy. Wow.
Amazing.
Wow. What can I say, boy? I don't even know what to say. I'm in shock, you know. I remember doing a program on this, and I don't even think I was so shocked.
No, you know what is alarming to me is the fact that ambulance that was referenced, that I found parked in a hidden garage, an isolated garage, is still there up to this day.
No,
and
don't say that.
Ambulance we paid $1.4 million for.
Oh gosh.
It's still right where I showed in. That was November. We are now in April, heading to May, and that ambulance is right there, unmoved, parked, unutilized, and that is $1.4 million just sitting there.
Wow.
And no one has been held accountable.
Wow.
That is $1.4 million of our tax-paying money.
Nah, man.
At a private garage, up in some bush, just parked there.
You serious?
As serious as a bull.
Wow. Wow. Nah, boy.
Yep.
Nah, boy. Tobago not saying anything?
The place is quiet. You could hear a pin drop.
Why?
Well, only they alone can say, but I know, sometimes, they really say the PNM is held to a different standard, because I can tell you, if it was the PNM that this had happened under, you could not have held back the kind of noise that would have been in the space. But for some reason, people seem to be extremely quiet.
This is really I am in shock. I am in shock, my brother. I am in shock.
It's alarming. As I said, as it's flabbergasting as well.
Wow.
I'm flabbergasted.
Yeah, like as we boy Watson you could say.
Yeah.
I'm flabbergasted.
He gassed.
Oh man! And he get walking away.
They say when a car cry, he had a laugh. So I guess that is because but it's vexing as well, because I'm saying in a time where resources are so scarce, to see scarce resources being utilized in that way, when you have people literally cannot, they don't know where their next meal is coming from. So many people unemployed. There's even in the health sector, in the hospital, so many pharmaceuticals unavailable, basic stuff to utilize, gloves, etc., unavailable. And here it is, in a real sense, $25 million just down the drain. And the secretary remains in her position, earning her big salary. The chairman of the Tobago Regional Health Authority remains in her position, earning her big salary. And who is feeling the pinch? The people of Tobago. Those of us who have, in some time of emergency, may have to call on an ambulance.
You have to call an ambulance and expecting it to reach to our loved ones. Yeah, and the thing, this could happen, it could be anybody, any relative, because sickness has no owner, does not see face. So tell me, brother, how so I really lost for words, right? I really lost for words. But I want to move. Talk to me. So, well, just to switch gears, this is but one example of why I have decided to step up to the task of offering myself to be the next political leader of the Tobago Council. So I'm Kelvin Morris. I have served over the past 4 years as the area representative for Darrell Spring Rim. So I'm the now former area representative and former minority leader. And if anyone is honest with themselves when it comes to matters affecting Tobago over the past 4 years, I have been that consistent voice, fighting in the vineyard, holding the fort for the party and also for the people of Tobago, ensuring that I demand transparency and accountability in governance, and also just supporting, people. Because I remember there was also the situation when this new administration came in. They embarked on a firing squad of persons they deemed PNM. And it was only when I started to
ensure that the persons who were terminated take action against this administration. We started speaking out. We even, I think at one point we had a march and all that.
Right.
It helped to save others, because there were many other units of the THA that was on the chopping block. And it is those actions, fighting on behalf of our members in that way, that help to save others and also ensure that those who were terminated got justice. And so I have been there doing the work. I have, as many persons would have said to me, Kelvin, we have seen your growth. We have seen how you have matured and how you have really risen to the occasion, because being the lone person, being new as well as a representative, and having to lead as the in a sense opposition voice in the assembly, that could not be easy. And we've seen how you really took on that task with grace and humility and strength. And we think you deserve an opportunity now to step into the role of political leadership. And it is one that I believe I am ready, I'm capable, I'm committed and passionate about going forward.
I was looking for your voice with that blue wave boat issue, but I know you was licking your wombs. I know you was licking your wombs. I know you was licking your wombs, and you was like, oh gosh, I don't believe these people and them leave out in the cold. You couldn't believe it. I know that's the reality of it. You really couldn't believe.
So close, so especially being so close, but yet so far.
Yeah. I know that.
Yes, and it happened so close to the election. I guess it was not by accident. Everything happened after the election and not before.
Yeah.
So
yeah. The other thing is
that in itself. Go ahead.
Some people asking, how old are you?
How old do I look? I know. How old do I look? Take a guess. You have known me for the last 4 years.
About in your early mid-30s.
I am going in. I'm going into the 40. That is the new 30.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm very early into my 40s.
Okay, very early 40s.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Very good. Well, you're young
Child
fella.
Of the 80s. Child of the 80s.
You're a young fella. You young man.
Yes. Young, but I'm very, a lot of people, a lot of people may not know that I have really served this party in various positions. In fact, in 2013, I was the youngest campaign manager amongst the campaign managers when we won 12-0. I was the campaign manager for, at the time, former EA Representative Claudia Groom-Duke.
Right.
For that BlackRock Wim Spring Garden seat,
right,
which we brought home convincingly. And thereafter, I've served, on many state enterprises. One of the most important state enterprise being Evolving Technology, as you know, E-Tech.
Yeah.
Because E-Tech also have responsibility through Vanguard Holding Limited as a subsidiary for Magdalena Hotel as well.
Okay.
And during my tenure there, we were able to deliver the Moruga agro processing facility.
Okay.
We were able, so we did a lot of good work during that period. I also served on the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited.
Right.
Right in the Tobago House of Assembly as well, where we were responsible for the transformation of the Tobago tourism sector when we separated Tobago's marketing from the TDC, so that Trinidad had its own agency, the Trinidad Tourism Agency, and then you had the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited as well. And we started the roadmap of to growth, where we moved the sector from an arrival figure at that time, which was about 16,000. And by the time I demitted, had to resign due to the fact that I got into active representational politics. Just before the COVID, we had reached a high of around 28,000, and we had entered the Canadian market in a significant way. We moved from where we were seeing maybe a handful of Canadians coming to the island to over 3,000 Canadians coming per year. So I'm someone who have served in multiple roles. In my own private capacity, I consider myself an innovator and an entrepreneur. I start things from almost scratch, and we build things. I'm someone who I've even been involved in the agricultural sector as an entrepreneur as well, and therefore, I think I'm someone who is very solution oriented. My approach is one of inclusion. I feel like, together we achieve more. So I love the whole concept of teams and people working together. I always believe no man's an island, and therefore, especially within a political institution, we need to be united in purpose. We need to work together. We need to value each other. And I believe every member of the People's National Movement is important. And like a family, you would have all kind of people. You would have the good, the bad, and the indifferent, but we must love one another regardless. Because even those who we may deem, unsuitable, they too, have their role to play. And therefore we have to appreciate one another. We have to start treating our members with more respect and more care and more kindness. And, generally, and this goes for both Trinidad and Tobago, we need to bring back genuine love in the party where we see each other for even our faults. Because no member is perfect. We all have our flaws, and therefore we have to appreciate that. And what we have to do is celebrate the strengths of every individual.
I hear you. It's something you said earlier that I just wanted to go back to. You said that you were the one that would have you were the campaign manager for who was it again?
Claudia Groom-Duke, and that's that's like my political mother.
Right.
She was the one who really got me involved
in the politics. What has changed? What has changed from then to now? Because you as you said, you were the campaign manager, so you would have experienced that, and that was in 2013. 2013. What has changed from 2013 to this last election that gone here, 2026? What have you recognized? One, that has changed in the political arena. 1, 2, especially with the PNM and the people in Tobago, not PNM not being so attractive to the people in Tobago in the way they were at that time when you were her campaign manager. What it is, and what you think can bring back that sort of confidence to the people of Tobago for the PNM?
Well, when you, and I don't want to be, or profess to be the holder of absolute knowledge in terms of that, but I could only say what people would say to me. And when it comes to the PNM, when you engage persons in the community and you ask them, like, why are we no longer your choice, or what do you where do you think we went wrong? And a lot of people would simply say that they feel like we lost touch with the ground. Like after a while, the things that we would have done, be present in the community, walk our area, just, people are able to meet us easily. After a while, that became less and less available to them. So they felt, but you also have the reverse where, you see, we would have ruled for 20 years, which is really the cycle of an adult. Our entire voting population would have come into the mix, and the opposition would have done a good job while we did not do so good of a job of marketing and reminding Tobagonians of the achievements of the PNM. So they would have basically drilled in that generation, because if you look at where we're really losing in a big way is the young voters, the voters 18 to about 35, that cohort. And they have been drilling to them, nothing didn't happen. While we have not properly communicated and articulated and documented the kind of transformation that came to Tobago between that period 2001 all the way up to 2021. And therefore, that is something I intend to even now, where we have to use the technology to give people a true appreciation of where Tobago was prior to 2001, the level of development that took place between that period, and so that the younger persons can appreciate and even compare now what the PNM did to what this TPP is failing to do. Because under the TPP right now, we have not, when you ask them, what new project you have done from the scratch? What have you built of your own? They may have refurbished some community centers, etc., and just put on a new plaque. But in terms of significant new projects, there's little to show in Tobago by way of the TPP. So I think we have to be able to have people appreciate the level of development that was done under the PNM, and more so we have to also get back to that kind of connection in the communities. We have to demonstrate to people that we care about them, and therefore even now I propose to have a self-help type of welfare fund where we can go, and you may have members or even seniors in the communities who may need, whether it's a little step fixed, a little drainage, those small low-hanging fruits. We must be able to go and really help our people. We must demonstrate to them that even without office, we can provide service, because that is what ultimately representation is.
Okay, I hear you. So really and truly, the conversation that you're building on is that there's a generation, and that is what happened from 2010 to 2015 with the PNM in Trinidad. From 2010 to 2015, my nephews and they were my son age, which is 15. Right? Yeah. They didn't know nothing about live sport. They don't know nothing about SIS. They don't know nothing about nothing. So they were going,
and that's what the UNC got away with even in this period 2050. So because they were out for 10 years, so people, a new cohort came in who didn't even have an appreciation for that.
Very true.
I even tell people the way how we would appreciate GATE, because I think GATE is one of those life-changing policies for young black educated people like myself and like you and others, who perhaps based on our parental circumstances, they may not have been able to afford tertiary education, and that literally opened the door for many of us, to progress. And so while we may have that kind of gratitude and connection to that policy, many younger persons now see that as a natural entitlement. Some of them perhaps don't even know how it ended up there and under whose administration. So those kind of things, in terms of having that kind of loyalty to party, the younger generation, you have to do more work, to earn their vote. And therefore, we have to continuously find means and ways to engage them and, remind them as well as to why the PNM, is that party that is known for development of island and country.
And that is so true. That is so true. Because my son is 15 years old. Right? Now, if I don't tell him what Dr. Rowley and they would have done from 2015, right?
Yeah.
He would not know.
Correct.
So I need to tell him.
Correct. Yeah, and that's why we all, I remember Dr. Williams in one of his early discourse said we all have to be messengers, of the movement, and it requires that more now than ever. And if we really are serious about being members of this party, rather than us fighting amongst ourselves and, bickering as who should be and who shouldn't be, we ought to be out there really carrying the message of the movement, starting in our homes, because that is how many of us got involved in the PNM, because it was our parents who would have continued to drill in us, the work of Dr. Williams, the work of the PNM, and all the good things that they would have done, and gave us that kind of appreciation. And therefore, we too now must do it in our homes, do it, and as he said, we go out to the highways and the byways, and we must spread the gospel of the PNM.
You said something earlier on about the young people and making the party more attractive to young people. Now, first to begin, young people not coming to join no party group, right?
Well, and correct.
There are people who are lobbying, and I give them the respect where, they are saying that, hey, we need to bring back the party groups, we need to build the party groups stronger, and I have no problems with that. But I believe that they need to have a new formula and a new strategy to party school and party groups, because nobody ain't working nowhere. How I get money to come party group meeting?
Yeah.
You can't tell me about putting party group on a WhatsApp chat and then all of us joining in on a WhatsApp call. If I have no internet, I'm not working nowhere, I have no internet. How I'm doing that?
Correct. Our perhaps don't even have a phone. so we have to.
We have to find a way. So my thing is, you were talking about a welfare or a team
welfare
of people,
fund.
Right?
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. I like the idea. I like the concept. I like because it's something like the volunteer factory in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, right. Something like that. But for me, it would work a little differently, because we just upgrading, and because it goes beyond just simply the like construction type support. Is support, because when you talk to members, and our members, especially you see your senior members of the party, it is the most loyal set of members you would find, and therefore, but when you listen to them, they have enough reason as to why they may, where things may not have gone their way in the past, and therefore we have to find a way to make them feel appreciated and valued. And I'm saying even simple thing as I've watched and I'm just referring to the Tobago scenario. You may have a member that passed. We may just send condolences in a chat. But how about even some cases of water? It wouldn't take anything from us to just carry some water and sit with the family and really empathize and sympathize with them in the time of grief. We have to become, I just believe we need again to return the people to people's national movement, that people-centered, that people-focused kind of approach. And once, because it's like you're in a relationship, and when people, for you, if somebody is falling out of that relationship or come out of that relationship, trying to win them back, or even if they're there, but they're already seeing signs that they're not as interested as before, you have to find ways to show that you care. You have to find ways to woo them again. Right. And therefore, we as a party, I think we are in that, because if you look at the numbers, even nationally, at the last, our members didn't vote against us in any significant way. They just stayed at home. So it means now we have to do the work. We can't just hope that the UNC will just, underperform and continue to be the corrupt disgusting selves, and our members would just automatically get off of their chair and come and vote. We have to earn their trust again. And to earn their trust, it would take work. And I'm seeing some of it happening, but I'm just saying, even in the Tobago space, that kind of work is required as well.
How do you propose to incorporate persons how do you intend to get persons interested in the party or in the politics who would say to you, "But man, I don't really care, you know. If you there, if you not there, I still have to go there and fight and make it and take care of my family. It doesn't make a difference if you there or if you not there." You understand? There are people who just who think that politics don't play a major role or part in their life. And
it's funny that you raise that, and it's just, and I would have to leave in a few minutes because there's a online meeting I need to join.
Okay.
But it's interesting you raise that point, because just today I was having a conversation like that, and the gentleman started off from the end of the spectrum, not wanting to hear from any politician, and feeling like, just as you described, you see me, regardless of what, I had to go on my farm, and I ain't seen all the helping me, and whoever, it doesn't matter who got there, because everybody does just got there to fix themselves, and all they don't care about we. And, first thing I think that helped that conversation is me listening to the gentleman.
Right.
So I sat there and I listened to him attentively.
Right.
And then I engaged him as well, trying to hear from him. So what would make you change your mind? Not even the politics, but what do you want to see? And then that brought him out to a different place, and he started telling me the things he finds should happen and what he's seeing in happening and all this should, and I kept listening again. So first thing I think key to any change is that we need to listen more and not be so quick to come up with a solution, but also because the people also know what they want in it. They would tell you if you listen to them carefully in it. And thereafter, yes, again, is about building trust. So it's not a one-off conversation. You have to continuously engage, and you have to, I think one of the philosophical resolutions that we have made as a part of renewing the party's philosophy in Tobago is simply saying what you mean and doing what you say. So let your actions speak louder than your words. So if there's anything in there that within what the person said you can make actionable, you simply go and do it. And you would see the difference in how that person would recognize that you're not just the regular person who would come, because everybody expect politicians will come, we'll talk fancy, and once we get what we want, we done with them, we drop them again. We need to stay true to our words. We need to make our words our bond, whatever we say, and that is how people would trust us. Because as you rightfully say, a lot of people they're getting very
disenchanted,
disillusioned by the politics, and it means we therefore just have to be very authentic, be real with people, and I think eventually they will come around, because some of them have been so disappointed over time that they become disenchanted and just don't want to hear.
Okay. Before you go, and I know you said that you have to leave. I don't know. How soon?
That's no problem.
How soon?
Maybe next 5 minutes I'll want to, because it's an ongoing meeting that I came off. So,
okay.
I wanted to chat with you.
Just to chat with you.
So, yeah.
You know, someone.
You see how special you are, right?
Well, okay, I hear you, brother. I hear you, brother. Somebody.
I leave my campaign meeting to come and talk to you. So that should tell you.
Not just me alone, but the viewers and listeners.
Yeah, no. Of course. I have to make time. And you know, I always enjoy being on your program. You know that.
I know that.
Election or no election.
Yeah, man. Somebody was asking. All right, so I find the question here. Good evening. Can you ask Mr. Kelvin if he is not successful as a leader, will he support the leader?
Well, the point is, I have always supported my party, and I've always said I'm a team player. You know, that question, you know, people ask those questions to the person who they believe would lose. But at the same time, we have to also ask, how do we propose to treat with people who lost? Because it's one thing for the person to be magnanimous and mature, but are we also mature enough to treat with the person fairly? You understand me?
Yeah.
So it is a two-way street. I am about the people's national movement. Even as when it comes to leadership, I've always said to people, whoever sits on the seat of leadership, whether in Tobago or Trinidad, have my 100% support, because you know why? That is who the people chose, and we must respect in a democracy the choice of the majority. And therefore, I take umbrage to any member who within this organization will attempt to disrespect in any way whoever sits on the seat of leadership, whether in Trinidad or Tobago.
Okay. All right. Well, here what now? When is the elections?
Election is next Sunday, April 26th.
Okay. All right. I think I should get you back before then so that we could do some from calling.
Maybe next week Thursday right now, yeah.
Yeah, we could do some calling and stuff like that so you can interact with the people in Tobago and Trinidad.
Definitely.
Who will want
to
ask you some potent questions concerning the internal.
So let us try to secure a date, make next week Thursday a date, and we'll finalize it and do some better advertising in terms of, you know, alerting some of my Tobago people as well.
Yes.
So you know.
All right.
But it's always a pleasure to your listeners. Please give them my love.
Well, they're hearing you.
Yeah. So I just want to thank you for this opportunity. I want to say because I know you have a strong PNM following on this program.
Yes.
I want to tell our PNM people, we may be down, but we're certainly not out like the Balize. We shall bloom again even stronger, and we shall be in power once we behave ourselves as a party. We stay united and we support one another. Both 2030 should be a good year, God spare life, for the PNM, both in Tobago and Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you very much again, my brother. We will touch base during the week
next week. Love and respect, brother. Yeah, man.
All right. So trying to be
good. Take care.
Yeah, man. So trying to be going by extension of the world. You just heard my brother, Mr. Kelvin Morris, and he is vying for the position of leadership in the Tobago PNM. Yeah, the Tobago PNM internal elections. All right, I just said let me touch base with him and get interactive with him so that at least some of you who don't know who he is can get to know who he is. And I think most of you would be aware of who he is, you know, because he has been a voice out there championing the cause of the People's National Movement when he was the lone standard bearer in the Tobago House of Assembly. Lone standard bearer. So again, you know, it's interesting to see how it will turn out. He is going up against Ms. Shamfa Kojo Lewis. And yes, I spoke to Ms. Kojo, Ms. Lewis, and she said to me that she is willing to come on the program and talk to you guys. So I am going to have Ms. Shamfa Kojo Lewis on the program. Cool. All right. So to those of you who now joining me, I just had on the program Mr. Kelvin, and he would have shared with us some good information about what's going on in Tobago. All right. So the time now is 9:44. It looks like we'll have a early program today, boy. We ending early tonight. What do you think? You think we ending early tonight? I ain't seen nobody responding. I feel we ending early tonight because I want to touch base and hear your views on a matter that we would have talked about on this program. We were talking about the contractors from HGC, and the contractors, we had a problem with them. I don't know if you all remember that. We had a problem with the contractors, and we would have played for you the clip from the contractors, and we played for you the clip, and we played for you the problems that we were having with those contractors. All right? We're having some issues with those contractors. And we're seeing where the OPR pull back the contracts. Yeah, OPR said no. There are some questions that need to be answered where those contracts are concerned. So the opposition PNM in a press conference on Wednesday would have brought some things to light, and people were asking and questioning, and we saw the list of the contractors, and persons were saying, hey, something isn't right here. Something is not right here. And we're seeing now where the OPR is saying, hey, what's going on? This needs to be investigated. Something about this not right, and it needs to be investigated. So my question to you guys this evening is, are you satisfied with the response from the OPR? Are you all satisfied with the response from OPR concerning the contracts from HGC to contractors? Are you satisfied with the quick response? I find they responded really quick. Right? I find they responded really quick on the situation with HGC. What are your thoughts? All right. So I'm opening up the phone lines now for you to tell me what is your view on it. 464-7003. 464-7003. 464-7003. What is your thoughts on the OPR issue? All right. What is your thoughts? This evening, I realized that CNC3 would have cut off early. So we're seeing where OPR directs HGC to pause on those contracts. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good night, Pastor Google.
Hi, good evening.
Thanks. Good night to you and the listeners and all the callers. I'm quite satisfied with what the procurement regulations and then this OPR, because you don't want that like what happened when there was, I think, one of the contractors in the list that they had, the present list, he was one of the contractors when there was a 10 to 15. We don't want to have that kind of problem again. Till that thing has to go quite up to the Privy Council, and these people bold facing up to bring back one out of the thing, one out of the contractors back in this in with the new set of contractors that they want that they want to bring. So we can't, I'm quite satisfied with that. We don't want what happened the last time. Right now, that matter, while they say it's not a criminal offense, it's a civil matter. You understand? And so the plans for them still there.
All right. Thank you very much.
We don't want that happen. Questionable things take place.
All right. Thank you.
You understand?
Yeah, man.
We don't want that taxpayers' money involved.
All right. Thank you. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening, Pastor Google.
Hi, good evening.
Pastor Google, this situation with the contractors, this thing is very, very serious, you know. But knowing this government, they will try to distract us with something else, you know. Right? And right now, they're trying to do with this, I don't know if you follow the story with this PNM senator. So they're trying to focus on that story and not talk about the contract, concerning the contractor. So they're trying to shift the goalposts. That's what they plan to do. So don't be surprised that they will focus on a topic to implicate PNM in a scandal and, you know, when they will not talk about the contractors and them. That's what I'm going to see in the coming days. All right, Pastor Google.
Okay.
And next thing too, concerning the thing with the jet fuel and stuff like that in Europe, yeah, it is very serious. I was watching this thing in EP News, and it is true. Europe have about 6 weeks of jet fuel left. That is very troubling.
Well, I don't know about the 6 weeks. I know that the news story that I played last night with Commander Dindial from BBC said that they have until I think it was the minister over there said that they have until the end of this month.
Well, from my understanding on EP News, a representative from saying that Europe have about 6 weeks of jet fuel. So I don't know if it affects all the European countries. So it's something to be looked at. But yeah, this thing is very, very serious, Pastor Google, and people feel that Trinidad and Tobago will remain untouched. I just wait a bit to see if they're going to send the so-called delegation to visit the president of Venezuela. I want to see how that will turn out. Pastor Google, you have a good night.
Okay, sir. All right, so I'm seeing people saying no, that they're not satisfied with the response from the OPR. Is it the same person saying it? No. All right, so people are saying no, they're not satisfied. Why are you not satisfied with the response? Because Ms. Regis brought it up. Was it this week? Ms. Regis brought it up, and Wednesday, Mr. Stuart Young talked about it. We talked about it on the platform. And today's Thursday, and the OPR told them, hey, hold up. You all are not satisfied with that? Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
You're not satisfied?
I'm satisfied, but people are taking the context. What happened, how the OPR was set up. You see, we had to go back to when the legislation was being tabled in Parliament, and the regulations were seriously watered down. The power that the OPR had, the then opposition who now in government had a problem with it. People recall that, right? Where the Office of Procurement Regulator had wide powers, and the opposition said they were not supporting those provisions. So what the OPR has done is what this government in opposition then wanted. You see what they have done there? That is all in law they empowered to do. And remember, you probably recall.
Hello? 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 I know what happened there.
Permit me, I just wanted to make one comment on the.
All right, so I think we missed a lot. We missed part of what you said. I don't know, something went wrong just a while ago. Like somebody scrambled the call. So all I heard was when you talked about the OPR all they could do is just what they did here. They can't do anything more.
Yeah. Because the legislation had to be passed by a 2/3, a simple majority. Remember that? And the stronger regulatory powers that the regulator would have had, the opposition then did not support it. And we see why they wanted it. Right? Because part of the power that the regulator was supposed to have was to stop contracts outright and go over the tenders and say that the process has to be restarted.
So wait,
the current regulator does not have that authority.
All right, so I remember, and I'm taking you back a little bit. Let's chat a little bit because somehow or the other, I just want to understand this. So I remember when Iowa George wanted the derelict boats, the water taxis.
Yes.
The derelict water taxi boats.
Yes.
And Iowa wanted us to cost PNM, cost the minister, tell the minister that we talking for PNM on his station, so he want us to tell them to give him the boats.
To lobby, yes.
Right?
Because
tell the minister to tell
nobody else. Yes, nobody else wanted it. And he found that he should have gotten it at the price he wanted it at.
Right. The minister said to us that in the OPR laws, he cannot do that. If he does that, he will be breaking the law and he could get locked up. That law doesn't exist?
Yes, that exists. But what I'm saying is that also included there is that selective tendering is permitted, right? But the oversight of the OPR, remember the OPR is still under the Minister of Finance, the Ministry of Finance.
Okay. So let me ask you this. But you know he get the votes, right? And all the bacchanal and all the confusion and all the drama he make. He get the votes quiet that he make heavy and TC cost me. That's why Aisha leave. All of that, you know, that's one of the reasons why Aisha Wells left the station, because they want to make we cost the PNM for boat and all them thing, and the same PNM that he turned against give him the boats, you know.
You wasn't loyal to the cause, Pastor. You wasn't loyal to the cause. You wasn't loud enough in your championing of the boss. He wasn't supporting the boss endeavors. Right, sir? Yeah, you wasn't reading from the same script. But not reading from the same script has served you well, sir. Because your integrity is intact. You have a son who you're bringing up in a particular way, and you want him to know that integrity matters. And that is what is important, huh? That is what is important. But the issue, if you would permit me, I wanted to just chime in a bit on was your first interview, Mr. Morris. I'm glad that the young brother is going forward to do something, right? But I think something that he has and the other challenger has to recognize too. See, a lot of the fallout with the PNM and Tobago had to do with how the former Chief Secretary Kelvin Charles was treated. And Tobagonians especially Tobagonians have a certain vintage, have a way they like things to go and so on, and they like elders to be respected. And you know they have a great sway more than over here. The family unit of itself has a lot to do with how people are brought up, see, is the word. And you see what was done to Kelvin Charles. You see, that fallout extended all the way to where it is now 15-0. From 14-1, remember it was 6-6, it went to 14-1, and then it is now 15-0, right? And that must be recognized by both competing aspirants for political leader in Tobago. In that, there was never a healing and acknowledgement of what was done to Mr. Charles. And a lot of people would have told their relatives here what happening. We're done with PNM, you know, and we will go with whoever is the alternative. Also, not forgetting the amount of people who stayed away, like here. Because when you watch the electorate and who were eligible to vote, I am saying that will have a lot to do with it. And one of the things that must be found out from the two candidates, well, you didn't do tonight, but perhaps when Mrs. Lewis comes on the program, is you should put that to her. How does she feel the impact of the treatment of the former Chief Secretary, Mr. Kelvin Charles, had in impacting the PNM's political fortunes since then?
Well, I don't know at what point you came into the interview. You heard from the beginning?
Yeah, I was listening from the beginning.
So you didn't hear when he talked about Mr. Kelvin Charles?
No, I didn't hear that part, sorry.
Okay, well, he did talk about Mr. Kelvin Charles, and he did talk about the healing process, and he did talk about he believes in so I can't give him word for word, but he did talk about Mr. Charles.
He talked that is mending fences and togetherness and so on.
Right, and he did talk about Mr. Charles, and he did say that Mr. Charles is willing to work with them, come back and work with them. So that aspect of it, and I for what I am aware of, when I went over to Tobago, Mr. Charles was involved in the campaign, you know.
Yeah.
I know that the political leader, Ms. Beckles, went over and she had a meeting with him, and there was a healing, that the healing would have started, and he was working with Kelvin.
Well, that is good to know, but I still see a lot of it with the apathy, the voter apathy has to do with that. And finally,
well, as he said, but from what he said, I don't know, again, he would have said that the problem was that the people felt as though they were not on the ground.
Right, no, when he said that, I was saying, but you would have seen Ms. Kojo Lewis and Webster Roy on the ground in the constituencies every week once they were in Tobago. And he, as he said, being a ground man, he is what I'm sure used to be there in his constituency. But I just feel like here, you see that whole ground, and I say it like how in the colonial way, you see that whole GRONG, that is just a smoke screen. Because people use that conveniently as a crutch to point finger and say, well, we're not happy. But I like this discussion. You know, you just come and change the discussion a kind of way that tends to lead to agent provocateur is how I see myself.
Right. No, while I hear you with that, somebody, all right, so I consider myself to be somebody who is in touch with the ground. Why I say that? Like today, I sat down by a nuts vendor, a fruit vendor. I eat some watermelon. The men and them who are wrong, who fill it, the maxi tout, the people who fill in their maxi. I sit down right there among them. They say, hey, Pastor Google, you hanging with me a little 5? I say, yeah. And while I hanging with them, I eating now the fruit vendor say, hey, taste this watermelon. Tell me if you find it sweet. I want to sell it at $8 $6 a pound or whatever. And think they and I did tasting the watermelon. We talking, and you're hearing how they're feeling about the politics also, because they want me to be able to hear how they're thinking about the politics and how they're feeling about the politics. And
that is good. And that is good. Because
right.
that is what lends legitimacy to this platform.
Right. So when I hear you say that people use that as an excuse, I want to say to you, that is not totally true. Because there are some people, right, who will not come on this platform. Why? Because, and I want you to listen to me, because they don't think that I am educated enough to question them or to interact with them. Now, you see how Commander Dindial just come on the program and enjoy himself thoroughly? He does enjoy being on this platform. Out of all the platforms that you will hear Commander Dindial on, he will say to me all the time, you see, this platform, he enjoys it thoroughly. Because he's free to be himself. He loves the questions. He loves the interaction. He loves the platform. He thinks that this platform is a platform that once it continues the way it's going, will wake up this nation. He honestly believes that.
And that's the idea. But,
right. But do you know that there are people? Do you know that there are people in the People's National Movement who will not come on this platform?
Yes, and that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me at all. But what's this, Pastor? When I use the word excuse, I'm using it deliberately and contextually. And I had this discussion with my 21-year-old, and it pertained to and the follow up. The discussion started after the video by our boy Rambles when he spoke about the voter apathy and he break it down. So me and myself went on to have a discussion, right? And Rambles in that video identified that he was part of the problem because he ended by saying he has never voted and he's part of the problem. And so I told to my son, because 21 years, that is the cohort, like we would have discussed with MP Morris in 2015. He voted his first general election last year, right? His first election was the local government election before, because he was eligible for that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of his cohorts and former schoolmates and so on, they didn't vote at all. They said had no relevance to them and that kind of thing. Just like how MP Morris said, the same thing about joining party groups and what are good for one thing, right? And I break it down to my son like this. I say, all the adults who just boast and say they don't vote and voting don't make sense. I say, all of them get up every morning and hustle to a job that has set hours and things. I say, and let me give you an example. They're going to work for 8 and they had to finish work by 4. Let me say they work in a factory, right? Some shifts there's be 2 to 10, right?
Yeah.
From 10 to 6 and wherever it is. So I say, you go to work the 2 to 10 shift, and then when you're an hour before you finish work, the boss say, here what happening? We had to introduce a third shift, and in order to make up for that, only had to work an extra 2 hours. Right? Remember you're getting to finish work 10 hours faster?
Yeah.
You had to work until midnight. So I guess for those of them who do their own transport, they're thinking about how they go to travel home and reach home and things, all right? But you know what's going on, Pastor Googs?
Tell me.
They go work the extra 2 hours. They go grumble under their breath, but they go work, right? But here it is. Something as important as voting. Fellow citizens of ours preferred to stay home and have a 30% government in place now making decisions that impacted their lives. And some of them lives were impacted to the extent where they have no employment now. They've had no employment since July last year. and then grumble. My son watch me, and I open up. He say, I never look at it that way. I say, but voting is the only thing that all they have to do is get up in the morning of the day the polls open at 6 and open till 6 and go and vote. And yet people saying that they don't want to do that. Whose fault is that? That was Dr. Rowley, Mr. Young and Penelope Becker's fault? No, we make that consent decision. But we had to work the extra 2 hours because the boss paid me. And I telling you, if people was getting paid to go and vote, they still would not go and vote. And this is where we don't realize the responsibility that we have for making democracy strong or weak. People should consider that.
I hear you.
Thanks for the opportunity, my brother. Always good to engage you.
You're most welcome. All right, so we're taking some of your calls. 464-7003. 464-7003. 464-7003. What is your thoughts? All right, so we're looking at the OPR, and they will have put a halt, they pause on the contract, the contractors and AGC. You're asking you if you think that asking you if you think they move fast enough. Hello, good evening.
Good afternoon, Pastor.
Hey, 10%?
Yeah.
What going on?
I don't know. You tell me. I cool.
You cool?
Yeah, I okay. I'll talk to you after. But with regards to standing point with the program, I am happy that the OPR put it because that was being responsible of the government to do that.
So you think that it will have people's eyes will consistently now stay on HDC, especially with their contracts and the awarding of contracts?
Yeah, and these are also they have to know that they can't do what they feel. They can't do what they feel.
Okay.
It's not their money.
Okay.
It's our money.
All right.
And rightfully so, you cannot find money to pay nurses and teachers. How is it possible you're going to find money to give people contracts and the land even didn't find the land yet? So that office would have need to come to court and explain that. Hence the reason they put it. Because they would have need to come to court and explain that. And rightfully so, how is it possible you can give a company this amount of contract, this amount of state funds, and they are only 4 months. They are only 4 months old. That's a critical factor. You understand? Hello.
I listening to you. 10%. I'm listening.
Yeah, how you can tell me you responsible enough to give a company billions in state funds and they're just 4 months old. What? They're just 4 months old. One.
Mm-hmm.
There's other companies with other with other questionable future past. There are other questions that answer from the past, and you tell me you could ignore that, ignore all that, and still put state funds in these people's hands. They would have to come to court and explain all that. So it's easier to pull it.
Okay.
Because there's many politicians, it's many ministers without come to court. You know. It's very contractors, it's the people who work inside there who's supposed to investigate that and say, hey, no or yes. Them individuals will have to come to court and explain how is that physically possible. That's why they put it so fast.
I hear you. But you are satisfied that they pull it.
I'm very satisfied. And that doesn't mean we watching the other machines. We watching them because it's a virus. If they could try something like that there, watching them elsewhere. So don't feel like they be, you can't do it where you want. Not because you're in charge, if you feel like you can do it where you want, you can't do it where you want. It's not your money.
Okay.
It's state money. You can't do what you feel with the state money. So like I say, people, it's very myself when I go to court and explain that. The people in that office will have to go and explain that.
Well, I heard Mr. Lee saying that today.
Huh?
I heard a radio announcer saying that today because he drawed reference to live sport. And when they had to go before the court, is the board members who had to answer?
Yeah, Pastor, I'm in public service. I can tell you that. The minister and I'm going to consider but when I come down to the draft, that's after who really okayed. The minister can say what he wants. But at the end of the day, procurement is a public servant, and he or she has to answer because they have to do the investigation to say yes or no. The minister can say what he wants, but the state employee has to do his or her job and do the investigation
Right.
So he can say what he wants. He can do what he wants, but the state employee, before money pass, the state employee must do his or her job and bring these questions to the forefront at the board meeting. And if they don't do that, and that goes through, then they have questions to answer. So now they pull it fast because it's either to pull it that they go to court and answer all the questions. Because how you could tell me you want to give billions of dollars in contract to companies that is 4 months old?
All right, I hear you.
Yeah. Anyhow, we could talk later with the graphic the other thing because I was done today and I didn't see it.
All right, now you have to put money on the set, so you know.
All right.
You know, it doesn't like when I call it 10%, but look, you're dramatizing me. But don't worry.
Pastor, you don't people see me in the question, call me 10%. You don't touch me. But see me in the question, call me 10%. You 10%? You talk about.
Yeah, it's last night when your boy calling KFC calling. Organize you with some water. We want water. I say, what? Now your partner?
We know each other very well. Like my neighbor.
Me getting all the business now. All the good
we know each other very well. Like my neighbor. We know each other very well. Anyhow, you want me some space there? Go on.
All right, man. So we're taking your calls 464-7003, 464-7003. What is your take on this matter with the Ministry of Housing and you know now the OPR? So the OPR would have sent a letter to HGC telling them, yeah, only hold up on this contract that you all are giving out. Hold up on it. You know, I trying to get the clip with Minister Young on TV6 tonight. I don't know if anybody could pull it for me. I'll appreciate it. I will play it if somebody sends it to me. The clip from TV6 where TV6 would have talked about it. TV6 would have highlighted it. So if anybody who listening could pull it for me, I'll appreciate it. All right, I'll really, really appreciate it. A whole lot. All right, appreciate it a whole lot. So we're taking your calls 464-7003, 464-7003. All right, take your calls and let's interact. Let's talk. Let's talk on Constructive Talk. All right, let's talk on Constructive Talk this evening on what's going on. A lot is happening, you know. A lot is happening. So if you're watching, if you're watching on the program, you're seeing where I have up the letter. All right, I do have up the letter. All right, and you can see what they are saying. So it's interesting. It's really, really interesting that we dealt with it this week, and yep, it is now in the public domain, and people are now dealing with it in a head-on way. All right. Good morning. Did you receive? Okay. There's somebody else. All right. Somebody messaging somebody else on my only code. Yes. All right. So taking your calls 464-7003, 464-7003. Taking your calls. What is your view on this OPR situation? And as I said, if anybody could get the video for me of what took place today anybody could on the news with that matter is concerned. With that matter, I wouldn't mind playing it. So this week we would have played this video, and in this video we recognize contractor number 3.
The Privy Council has denied TN Ramnath and Company Limited, its principal Taradat Ramnath, Calco Limited, Motilal Ramhit and Sons Contracting Limited, and Fides Limited permission to appeal a Court of Appeal decision. This ruling dismissed their applications to strike out Estate Management and Business Development Companies Limited (EMBD's) case or compel EMBD to provide further details. EMBD's case involves claims of unlawful conspiracy, bribery, dishonest assistance, and breach of fiduciary duty related to 12 civil work contracts awarded shortly before the 2015 general election. EMBD seeks to recover $275 million and declare the contracts void due to illegality. The lawsuit also involves counterclaims from contractors seeking payment for work under these contracts, and it names former government minister Dr. Rudal Munilal among the defendants. Following the Privy Council's decision, the case will proceed to trial under Mr. Justice C. Prasad, with defendants, including Dr. Munilal, are now required to file their defenses by November 6, 2024. Previous efforts to stop the trial were rejected by the High Court in August 2020 and the Court of Appeal in January 2024.
So, one of the contractors who now involved in the whole fracas. One of the contractors. Their name was mentioned in that video there. All right. While we wait for your calls, I want to indulge you in a video. I want to play a video for you to listen to. And I just want some of you to listen to this video and listen to how UNC supporters are gloating, and how some UNC supporters listen to how they think. Listen to them. There's some UNC supporters, they believe that like people like me shouldn't be talking, to talk, only hush, because only talking for nothing, only talking for. But we're talking to educate, we're talking to inform, we're talking to make people aware of what's happening in our country. If you don't know what we're talking for, we're talking to educate, inform the people of Trinidad and Tobago. That's why we just talk. That's why we just have constructive talk, to bring a level of awareness. But listen to how they think about our talk. I want to play this for you. Take a listen to this.
You singing for your supper? What you singing for? What you writing all them comments for? Who you making video to respond to my video for? Because I say if the PNM claiming everything, because in this country, once you look like this, from the time you come out your mother womb, you must support the PNM for the rest of your life, no matter what they do. I wasn't brought up like that. I never had parents who did that. All they're not making no sense. And most of all, they're just racist. And yes, they are racist on both sides, but I have met the most African racists in my lifetime and interact with them, because they will watch somebody and hate them just because they choose a particular party, when it's okay for you to choose a party and gets nothing, some of all you, because they pick and choose who they help. You ain't want nothing. After this 5 years, me? I had new car, I had somewhere to live, I had businesses, I had all that before openly supporting our political party. And when this stint is over, I will still have those things. And I get all those things before by my hard work, not by no handout from no political party. You know what I'm telling you? I didn't have to run down and walk behind nobody in the PNM to get none of those things, and they never gave me nothing. So after this stint, whenever it ends, I will still have something. You know why? Because I had something before this, and I never depended on a particular party was to get those things. Alright? For all the information, all you need to get it together.
Pastor Google, they are not responding.
I have the right, just so you have the right to support your party, I have the right to support my own. Right? Don't vex with me automatically. You don't never met me in your life, but you vex with me because I support a party. You could come on the internet and talk all kind of thing and write all kind of thing, and I can't. Well, all wait there and see. Wait there and see. And it's just facts I talk, you know. Me ain't saying I go agree with everything a party do, you know. But don't vex with me. Who you singing for? What all I've been singing for years.
Only the creator dictates my destiny.
Interesting, eh?
Good evening, Pastor Google. They are not responding. The no that they are responding to is when you ask if you should close early tonight. They are not responding to the OPR. It's no is for the closing off early tonight.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. See, you all heard what that man say? You all heard what that guy said? If I was to go through what he said, that the PNM don't give nothing or haven't given people anything, and all they want them to do is to work CPEP and URP and stuff like that. You know, the level of misinformation and the level of deceitfulness is so it's so unbelievable. All the programs that Mr. Foster Cummings was doing for Trinidad and Tobago young people. You know, I was listening to some people talk, and they were saying that, hear what they were saying, right? They made a statement. They said, imagine, I was a part of a meeting, or it was a meeting I was in. And in the meeting, they were saying that people left their jobs and went to study agriculture in a program that the Ministry of Youth and National Service would have put together. The Ministry of Youth and National Service put together a program for people to become farmers. They never do nothing for you. They never give all you nothing. Never put anything in place. All they wanted to do is work CPEP and URP and forestry. But the Ministry of Youth and National Service put together a program, a degree program for people to become farmers, so that we could feed ourselves. People left their jobs. People left their jobs. People left their jobs people left their jobs to study farming, to study to be a farmer, because they were getting a starter home, they were getting land and some money to start off as a farmer. But then a man will come and do a video saying that the last government did nothing for nobody, just wanted only to be CPEP workers and URP workers. So the gullible in society who listen to him will believe that crap and then turn around and want to watch you in your face and tell you that this last government did nothing for 10 years. That's amazing. Hello, good evening.
Good night, Pastor Google. Hello?
Yes, good evening, sir.
Pastor Google, who is that ignoramus on that video?
That is the guy that they caught. He is on the board of Queen's Hall. He is the one who will have pulled all the social media people together.
My God, Pastor Google. These type of people is what do you call it? Clear and present.
Not Rambles. What's his name, boy? Forget his name now.
No. These are clear and present danger to the mindset of Trinidad and Tobago, and these people now have a following.
A huge following.
Where was that fellow when Mr. Manning started the free tertiary program? PNM and do nothing. Where was he when Mr. Manning started the free tertiary education? Where was he? PNM and do nothing. Where was he when Mr. Foster coming into the recent one? And let me go recently with the homestay program.
I don't know why you're sounding so muffled, caller. You're sounding as though there's a cloth over the phone, and you're sounding very, very muffled.
Sorry. Where was he when Mr. Foster coming out was doing the homestay program for the youth and them? So PNM and do nothing at all. What about the free tertiary program that started on Mr. Man with UTT? PNM and do nothing. I was for black people to elevate themselves to go to tertiary education, so we don't have to pay $1,000 to do a degree. Mr. Man open up that.
NCW, that's his alias. NCW.
Man, Pastor Google, I don't know, but those are a struggle, guys.
Yeah, man.
I am very disappointed.
You have time to be disappointed. Thanks very much for your call. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Pastor Google.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, I am extremely happy for the OPR intervention, this matter.
Thank you.
That guy, the kid that you played there, this is why the PNM leadership must, at this time around, the campaign should be what the PNM did from the formation of the PNM to now. All the infrastructural work, all the industrial estates, everything that the PNM will have done. They have a campaign because my children and grandchildren don't know, I mean, those around me, I inform them because I grew up poor. And I was a poor neighborhood. I need to come in that area now. My children don't know anything about outhouse and grandchildren. They grew up air conditioned room and what have you, but now try to about 2-3 floors. That's what they know. So I told them how it used to be in the area. PNM policy brought us from that stage, that time. We grew up in a cafe house. From that time to now. So the guy who spoke earlier before said that, and even Kelvin Morris too. So the PNM must now start with a campaign from when the PNM was formed, how the country was at the time, to and coming up with all the PNM policy. education was one. Dr. Rory said many times he was the only one in his family got a high school education. He wasn't invited to retire many times, but he was the only one given that opportunity from the PNM. Give him that. Kamala Patati said that when the PNM was formed, she was 4 years old. She was 4 years old, so when she went to study, she went to India to study. No, she got a PNM education too, and all the whole lot of them got a PNM education. Today they say the PNM did nothing for you. So the PNM must start from that time, coming back. All the development that the PNM policy did to help us in a good state of a good state now. Thank you very much for your opportunity.
All right, thank you very much, caller. Thank you very, very much. You see, Trinidad and Tobago. Let's go. PNM do nothing.
Behind me, another abandoned youth development project. This was the very successful youth agricultural shade house project. A project we modeled after a Guyanese experiment when we visited Guyana and saw young people involved in shade house production. The government then invested on the site in Chagaramas and partnered with the University of the West Indies and trained over 300 young people in shade house production, protected agriculture. And the government has shut it down. The current government has discontinued the program. There are currently no students enrolled, and the cooperative of students, the cooperative that was formed to manage this project and to take this produce to the market, to the hotel industry, to the restaurant industry, to the supermarket industry. Look at the crops, abandoned, and the students, I am told, have been denied access to this site. If you look at the gate is closed, padlocked, the site is completely abandoned, overgrown with bush. We had 4 completed shade houses here and another 16 under construction, and you can see there's no work taking place. The construction has stopped and the students have been denied access to this site. Once again, I call on the government to allow the students access to the site so that they can continue their agricultural dream. I'm told that is the intention of this government to give this site to one private individual to operate this project when we had a program benefiting hundreds of young people and giving them an opportunity, a new opportunity in life as a farmer. I feel it for the students, and I know that they are anxious to get back on the site. I call on the government to please give the students the opportunity.
They do nothing. They do nothing for the young people. That's what he say. All the girl was CPEP and URP. That's why a man do a video and tell this nation, you know. That gentleman did a video and tell this nation that PNM did nothing for their people but give them URP, CPEP, forestry. Only a wicked boy. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Hi, good evening. Hello, good evening. Caller?
Yes, good night, good night.
I don't know why you're singing so soft. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, you hear me better now?
Yeah, I hear you better now.
Well, right. My thing is, with this NCW, he just recently gone in with the UNC and, like, he misinformed how much ministers currently from the PNM charged for any fraudulent activities. You can say PNM bring out Moss, Gate, and all these things to help the poor people. How he don't know that? Each year annual pass through and probably benefit from Gate and all these school programs that the PNM put in place to help out the poor people. Sorry to say they do anything.
Sad. Very, very sad, caller.
Just recently, because before election time, he and all had foul things to say about the current Prime Minister himself. He make joke videos about it. That's how quickly them just forget on all themselves.
All right. Thank you very much.
Respect.
Yeah, man. So I don't know where they just come out from. I don't know what they're listening to. But when you make up something in your mind and you believe something in your mind, you put it across as though it is facts, you know. Yeah, you put it across as if it is facts. Let's take another call. Hello, good evening.
Pastor.
Hello? Yes, caller.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. I apologize to you and the nation. With that.
With what?
Hello?
With what? There's somebody calling in, another caller trying to get in.
Anyhow, yeah. I'm sorry for the you and the nation, eh? I'm sorry. Say again?
You're sorry to me and the nation for what?
I happen to personally engage him, and we are a heated battle. So I'm very sorry for the nation about that. Because I happen to engage that individual a couple of days ago, and we always be back and forth, and apparently, I don't know if it's me or others, but I more or less get, I think I more or less get on my skin because, well, I don't know. It's how smart he really is. Because nobody can tell you to support your party. But called facts, brother, facts. And you don't have facts. So I challenged him to certain things, and he was more disgusted because he was saying all kind of things about certain parents. So I let him know. Some of the most despicable, disrespectful, some of the most shameful politicians come from your party. You right now your party have people on bail in the parliament. So for you to say the people in nothing, and I'll go talk about it, everything. I said, who closed down the youth camp, my brother? Who closed down the youth camp in 1997? Who did that? Pastor Pandey. Where you was when that happened? How much noise you make when that happened? So sorry to the nation because I have many had a heated discussion and apparently he couldn't sleep. Sorry. My son's peace.
All right, man. Thank you. All right. 464-7003. 464-7003. Taking your calls. What is your view? Nothing. They said that the PNM did nothing for young people, nothing for people. All PNM wanted for people to do was work CPEP.
Taking your calls.
Hello, good evening.
Nothing. They said that
Hello, good evening, caller. You need to listen to me on your phone and not on the television. Hello?
Pastor, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, I just jumped on and I happened to come across that guy he was speaking. I think he's a paid UNC agent. Okay, so let's dismiss that guy. Okay. I think something is actually wrong with some people. When Dr. Rowley became the prime minister, this man said he made certain promises. Number one, he said we're going to build 2 boats for Tobago. He didn't say buy, he said we're going to build the boats to suit the accommodations, meaning the rough water and stuff. And yet people still the money do nothing for Tobago. You see, human beings, you see, when you think about human beings, and I think Trinidad have to go to where they're going to now with this government for people to understand what you have and you discard it for something that doesn't make any kind of sense. Because you cannot tell me everything the PNM put in place. A gentleman just speak about the youth camp and Mr. Pandey close it down and all that stuff. That's facts. Mr. Manning and the PNM machinery always try to uplift people, especially the youths. And what most of them does, some of them, they don't follow through with anything. So it's difficult to hear people coming and say, nobody do anything for them. What did you do for yourself? You understand what I'm saying? The government is there to assist you. And the one we can say about this PNM, the PNM government in general, be it so under whoever it is, they always put things in place to assist people. And it's up to you to take the torch and run with it. This, listen to Foster Cummings just now. Isn't it Philip Watts in, is he what? Is he the youth? What is he? Is he in, he took over from, was Foster Cummings, is it?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
And what is this? Is people holding this guy feet to the fire? What is he doing? All this thing Foster Cummings put in place with all these things for these youths to operate heavy equipment, startup homes and all this stuff. What is this? People just giving these people too much of an easy pass. You know, Phillips Watts people should be in the man office knocking down that door every day. Right? Because you get rid of, I don't know, man. You know, it's difficult sometimes to sit down and listen to some people. And when you look, most of them look like me and you. Boy, that has hurt so bad, man. You know, it hurt so bad. You know, you do your best to get rid of Foster Cummings. To replace him with what? All these things they have for the youth, everything shut down, and you tell me that's progress? How that could be progress? Something is wrong with my people. But I'm saying again, people have to go through this to realize the things they're doing in Trinidad and Tobago. This is a wake-up call for a lot of people. What is happening here? I think it had was to happen. I'm sorry to say it like this, you know, because you cannot tell me people was working, working, and you go vote a party who take away your job, I mean, explain that. And they was told this before. This was no secret. Dr. Reed told these people everything before was going to happen if you put them in power. And say what? You put them in power? You know what I'm saying? This is so depressing to listen sometimes. I'm telling you guys, it is really, really depressing to sit and listen and see what is happening in Trinidad and Tobago. And when you look at the people that put to run people affairs, it's like a game show. It's a party house. I don't understand it. It's difficult to understand it. I'm really having a difficulty listening to some of these people sometimes.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
That senator who assisted Terence Dial Singh in his report, before we said Jack Robinson, enough pressure was brought to bear upon her that she has to be out of it. And I keep wondering to myself, when Dave McKenzie was on last week or so, I was trying to get him to ask him, do you think it's right that the opposition senators and the independent senators will continue sitting in the parliament, knowing that the Prime Minister said that 2 of them there are solicited for finance vote in a certain direction. Now, this is a time where pressure can be brought to bear upon the Prime Minister and the UNC in a way they have never experienced it before. It was an unforced error. The independent senators and the opposition senators should say we cannot work knowing that you know two people here who have done wrong. You don't expect us to sit and vote and argue for laws when there are two people here who are taking bribes. The police also should be pressure to put on them also that they cannot allow to have this information of wrongdoing and she's keeping it to herself and allowing two folks who seeking bribe to function as normal. The Integrity Commission also, pressure should be brought to bear upon them. That here the Prime Minister is saying to you that two of these senators here are bribe takers and you are not doing anything about it, and they are walking back to the Parliament every week to sit and make laws knowing that two of their colleagues here are taking bribes. No, man. I think I'll do my part, I wrote an article in the Express saying just this, We all have to do something about that. This is a time to bring her under pressure. Either she resign, or she said she'll turn her eye on these people, or she'll be arrested. But she have put her foot right in her mouth, in the clear, and nobody's bringing her to bear.
But here,
this is one thing I like about. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, what I like what you're talking about. I like where you're going with this, and here what I want to find out also. All right. Now they're saying that the girly senator, she has to step aside. She has to step down. Mm-hmm. Right. That's what they're saying about the senator. She has to step down. She has to step aside. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. But you have Philip Alexander, who blatantly break the law by parking in a disabled park. Went, give the disabled people the money that he would have paid in the ticket. He gave it to them. And he is still sitting in our Senate today.
Yes. You have Ravi Ratiram, who's under investigation for human trafficking and international crime. And he's still his minister or something.
Yeah, and you have David Lee.
You have David Lee. You have Munilal. I mean, all these people sitting normal in the Parliament, but you telling this girl guy may have seek advice to her, she did not think it through properly, and then if he didn't say the wrong thing to the use of theirs too. But when you have people there frank comment before the court to do all kind of thing, and they are sitting and making laws in the Parliament, but this girl give advice, and you want her out. You don't want her just to recuse herself from the committee, You want her out of the Parliament.
Yep.
Anyway, you have a good night, my brother.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very, very much for your call. So I have room for about 2 or 3 more calls. 464-7003. 464-7003. Hey, we talking. People are saying that she should step down, or the opposition leader should remove her forthwith. And everybody have their reasoning why they're saying what they're saying, And I hear everybody clearly. But the same figure and venom that we want with her to leave, we should have said that also for, what you name? Philip Alexander. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Pastor Google. I'm going on that road, crying like how Terrence and play card right. So I'm going on that road.
Wait, you can't do that.
I tell you, if you come to me, man, you ain't looking at what you're doing as a former minister to understand that you could put me in problems. I must have a discussion with you, man, Pastor Google, before I even entertain that thought to help you. Right? So I going down that road. I'm sorry for by trying to do the right thing or trying to assist a man. She ended up losing her job.
Yeah, she ended up losing her job. And
and putting she name down like she's a bad person.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, but you know,
just because you didn't look at what you were sending, man. Right? I tried you. So you supposed to read that about 10 times before you said that. How could you make such a error? Come on, Pastor Google. So let me know along that road. I'm sorry for the lady. But life knows, God knows best. You see, I heard you all asking gentleman just a while ago. Right?
You look nice to do. So wait, before you move on, like, you can't just move on just so. No, don't do that. I had a water here to drink to just move on. So we're saying, we boy Terrence, I think there's some clout.
Yes. I was here in front of the house, demanding a pension. He had to give me some money for the next 6 months, Pastor Google, because I tried to assist you, not knowing that I could end up in this problem. And you, as an adult, digitally,
not tech savvy. He wasn't tech savvy. He not too tech savvy. If you look at his mistakes, if you look at his mistakes,
talk to me one-on-one.
Listen to me. If you look at his mistakes, right, that was made.
He said the thing that she sent him.
That's because you're not tech savvy. If you was tech savvy, you could have called your grandchild or your daughter or somebody who tech savvy. Or before you even send it, you could have called her. You could have called the young lady and say, "Here, what now? You've read this summit. Check it and see if everything is everything." But he didn't do that. He was you know. I what?
That have my heart hard.
Why? Why have your heart hard?
Yeah, because Terrence could have got too lash. Deserved too lash. He embarrassed the whole thing.
He embarrassed the whole party.
But you know what? You see that? You see, you remember that what was the name of this super fast girl that she had bringing in?
Yeah, the brother super fast girl.
You remember there was a matter in the court with that incident?
Yeah, well, in that throat.
So I am waiting to see if the matter with Annan go get thrown out.
No. All right, yeah, go ahead.
I'm waiting for the matter with Annan. I'm waiting for the matter with Munilal. I have a matter with Parayat.
Yeah, boy. The matter with Parayat, nah, he go down to that old man before anything happened with that matter.
Right? Who again I have?
So we have Barry Parayat, you have Munilal, you have
housing.
You have the one with the human trafficking. You have who again?
Minister Housing.
I just tell you, hey, I call he first.
Oh,
David Lee and a criminal matter. Munilal have the Privy Council
matter.
The Privy Council say Munilal have question to answer.
Right. The Attorney General is the former Attorney General who is now.
Yeah, well, he never talk about who in the Parliament. Talk about who in the Parliament.
Oh, okay, all right. Right. Who in the Parliament? Exactly.
Barry Parayat.
Yes.
You have we name the human trafficking man. Like 5 so far.
Right, sitting down in the Parliament that you mustn't talk about.
No, don't talk about them.
But you know, if it was on the other side,
oh gosh,
now I tell them Marlene. Faris. But when it comes to them, Foster too.
You remember Dr. Lisa sing that song?
Foster. So now you mustn't call them out.
No,
and if you know what is worse? All the people that they call have no matter actually before the court for anything. But the 5 of them that we call has matters before the court to answer. We have 2 ministers away waiting for the matter to start to come back to give their evidence. 2 former ministers against the same human trafficking man. we must not say nothing and be quiet and CPEP. When I hear you talking about a man say CPEP, PNM and do nothing. Well, you know what I want? You see how they use what we boy name? Wendell Eversley became what is the man's name? Because he jumped out and leave them too, you know, that was his name, Ravi Balgar, the man who always have before the Privy Council for them want information. So I see we use Wendell today. You know what I want we to do? You see the young people that was in the training program for 2 years to become farmers and come and lost the whole thing. I want the lawyer who went with Wendell Eversley to find these young people and let them take the state to court, because the state promised me something, made me sacrifice 2 years of my life or 3 years of my life with an expectation, Pastor Google, right? That if I complete this, whether the government change or not, that have nothing to do with me, Pastor Google. I went into an arrangement with you, the state, not the government. Right, Pastor Google? Enjoy your night.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Somebody was calling just now. You can call back now. The person who was calling just now, you can call back now on 464-7003. 464-7003. All right. So the person who was calling just now, you can call now. All right. 464-7003. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Pastor Google. The same thing I was telling you yesterday evening. Look, yesterday when PNM had a press conference, and Mr. Young read out all this thing with this contract and thing. He had was to leave, so they say, all right, questions. One of the media there, I forget her name, asked him about the same situation with this lady here, who they comment on. Until he had to tell her, ask her, of all I just read out there, this is the only question you could come up with to find out. I tell those jokers we have, but that's a much more important thing that this little issue here. They want to take this and run with it now. In the media and all involved in this foolishness. I tell you something wrong with we. The same thing I was saying, something wrong with we right through. We only dealing with we want to bring out the petty thing out in the open. We have some, look how much of them there in Parliament, and all kind of charges, and nobody allocated to come down on them. Every little thing come up here, especially with PNM, is a big problem. The same thing I was saying, something wrong with us here. We have ourselves in this situation now because we heard something wrong with us. All right, Pastor.
How we could fix it?
How we go fix it?
Yeah.
But we have to start like what you're doing and like what other people doing. We have to start to get together and bring out and all these issues and start to talk about them. Put UNC under pressure. We don't see too much all kind of lawless people in this party and nobody ain't saying anything. They just having a good time. We need something wrong here. I don't know what to say. And in the meantime, it's the people there who suffering. All these people and them who in this program, they shut down everything. They ain't care about. They don't care about this country, you know. It's just a vengeance. It's like the long time we're saying it's days of vengeance, you know, going on here now, you know, Pastor. Days of vengeance, you know. That's what's going on here.
Oh, God. The one say days of vengeance, yes?
Yeah, it's days of vengeance. That's what's going on here.
So what you're telling me is that the vengeance are moko on me then?
Well, it has to be some kind of thing because what is this? And we go and make a second mistake.
Oh, God. man. But where you say for the people in Tobago? But where you will say for the people in Tobago?
Well, do after them? Them by themselves. They come like in Trinidad and then it's Tobago. Them by themselves. Because right now them are not studying what they do.
But how do you fix it? My question to you, and you're not answering. How do you fix it?
Well, we have to change our ways of thinking.
But, okay. All right.
We have to change our ways of thinking, Pastor. We will be too thin-skinned. We just jump to everything in our world. The same guy you talk up, the same guy you pull up this thing what he says. You hear we talking? He don't care about nobody, he care about himself.
Thank you.
He ain't studying down the road, and he jumping. And if it looks sharp whenever UNC going through, he wants to the branch on PNM side again. I think that's the kind of people we have in this country, you know.
But that's what he's saying in a sense. He's saying that. That's exactly what he's telling you. He's telling you, hey, if after this 5 years here, because he know it's looking good for them.
Yeah, you know that.
Why if he say that? Because he know it's looking good.
We have to start to think different between mindset, something wrong. We have to get together. We have to start to think different. We get fooled twice. My girl, Karin said that. Fool me once, fool me twice. Is that what's going on with me? You understand?
I hear you.
All right.
Thank you very much, caller. All right. I don't know if the caller still want to call in. There was a caller that was trying to get in when I had another caller on. You were calling in. I don't know if you still want to call in. All right. I don't know.
All right, Pastor Google. Well, I tried to call there. I ain't get in. I think it's good night by now. And you must explain to us why you just say good evening when we realize it's night. Explain this to us. All right, but let me leave that party. But that man I just hear talk there. I want to tell that man something.
Good evening.
Yes, Pastor Google, good night. How are you doing?
I am okay, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Pastor Google, you remember a gentleman by the name of Joshua Samaru?
Yes.
Right.
That's Pastor Katian Samaru's son.
Well, hear what is baffling me. The officers and they that was involved in that episode, weren't they allowed to remain on duty? And they were allowed to remain on duty, and then they were offered counseling by the.
So they were offered counseling, and then they were put on desk duty.
Okay, so there's no counseling available for the goodly.
I don't know if the family got counseling. I'm not aware.
No counseling was offered for the family at all because but the point I'm raising is this. I wouldn't take up your time. If you take the initiative to hold public office, you holding public office and there's no insurance involved for misbehavior. What if you cause personal injury, property damage, or contractual fraud? So the solution you're asking for is there. You didn't hear Stockton talking about fiduciary duty, and if they reach the end of the branch, you have something for them.
Okay.
This is a gentleman that puts on a masterclass when it comes to the law of the land, the common law of the land. All the remedies are in the common law. All the remedies are in the common law, Pastor Google. I want to see how long we're going to play around and the Kizels and the this one and the that one. Common law versus commercial law, that is what is causing the issue. You have to enforce the common law.
But you know that there are people who... I don't want to start a discussion this hour of the night.
Yes, and that's why I'm saying, Pastor, you're doing a masterful job in providing a platform for people to voice their opinion. But until we're ready to get serious, there's no way you can hold public office, take a note of office, and there not be insurance involved. You could injure private civilians. Well, how we been allowed to do that? Nobody sending a notice of liability, no way.
Well, when my father come on next week,
nobody sending a notice of court is paperwork.
All right. So when my father come on next week, call him now and banter with him with that. As a junior lawyer, I know studying.
Continue the good fight, like you're saying. We're not wrestling against flesh and blood. This is misinformation.
Yeah, a lot of misinformation going on.
Misinformation. Thank you for your time, Pastor.
You're most welcome, sir. Yeah, a lot of misinformation is going out there. A lot. And there are some people who are being really confused by it.
You can't give everybody thing who does vote for the PNM. No party didn't do that. Because I remember when Dr. Lovell was in office, some East Indian people from down Barrackpore, they was living in a lagoon. And when that man gone down there and he see the state where those people was living in, that man bowed and say that he is going to take them people out of that. Right? Because he was disturbed when he see the condition. He said nobody don't need to live in that kind of condition. And the people was in power, they never do nothing for them. Now they come out for that 5 years, they're going back in again after the 10 years, and they still do nothing for them people yet. I could put my neck on a block for that. Right? So that man we're talking, all those HB house or P house, whatever house, the PNM bill, and give people it for free. All they had to do is to pay the light bill, pay the water bill. Right? And these people get a house for free. So when a man talking, there is nonsense. Right? The PNM don't give them nothing. The people that who work URP and work CPEP, they had a program for them. They tell them it's not something that they have to stay in. They give them a program, to go and learn to further whatever they want to go into, so that they could come out of being under the CPEP and under the URP. So they had the CPAP business and the URP business mostly for the people who don't have no subject and don't have, all these set of things, because they still have to live. So they had that program. They didn't want to keep them there. They put things in place so that they could step up and they used to keep talking to them. I remember Mr. Manning used to be talking to them. I remember Dr. Rowley do it too. They don't want them to remain on that all the time. But still, you can't get job in office for everybody. Not everybody could work in office. They had the education to work in office. You hear? They might be working there, but they might be a cleaner with some kind of thing. So watch now. These people just talk a lot of crap. That I don't know what to say now. You have a good night.
All right, thank you. So to your first question about why I don't say good night and always saying good evening, I remember when I started on radio in the evening time, late night, I used to say good night, and I remember one time I was corrected by a caller who called in and she would have said to me, when you are coming into somebody's presence, you say good evening. When you are leaving their presence, you say good night. So when I'm leaving the program, you let me say good night. All right? And when I start the program, I'll say good evening. When I'm introducing a caller or talking to a caller, I'll say good evening. And I would have done more investigation, and that is radio and media etiquette, where you address people, because after 6 is evening, and when you're leaving somebody's presence, you say good night. All right, so that is how I learned it in media. So that is why I do it that way and continue to practice it that way. All right. Anybody else wanted to call in? 464-7003. 464-7003. Anybody else want to call in and share your views on issues and current affairs that we're talking about? All right. We'll see that nobody else is calling in. Somebody's saying, all right. Yeah, Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension, the world, those of you who locked on wherever you are. Let me say thanks again for those of you who are joining me, and continue to do what you have to do to inform yourself and educate yourself. I know that this procurement, this OPR issue is going to be a talking point for some people. Let's see where this goes.
Coming soon to Constructive Talk Network, Critical Thinkers. It's a youth show with a youth perspective on current affairs and issues in Trinidad and Tobago. Critical Thinkers, youth perspective on Constructive Talk. Final Hour Christian Ministries invites you to their annual Visitors Day service. End of days. Where are we in 2026? On Saturday, April 25th, 2026 at 11 a.m. Mandela Hall Center of Excellence with Pastor Mackenzie and the Final Hour family. See you there.
Hear me clearly. Do not adjust to this white nationalist evangelical Christianity that is afoot in America, with the likes of Paula White saying Donald Trump is the closest thing to Jesus Christ. That is a false theology. Franklin Graham wrote a letter to Donald Trump saying he's assured to get into heaven because of how he has handled the war in Iran. Trump is going to fit in heaven just like Trick Daddy did at the AKA convention. The two of them don't agree. You cannot adjust to these uneducated theologians who are quick to denounce the Divine Nine, but they have not renounced racist policies or pedophilia or Epstein Island or the termination of black generals from promotion. Y'all better get away from these people that are quick to quote the Bible out of context but never speak to truth to power.
The information provided by the speakers and or presenter on Facebook and YouTube is for general informational purposes only. All information is provided in good faith. However, Constructive Talk makes no representation or warranty of any kind, express or implied, regarding the accuracy, adequacy, validity, reliability, availability, or completeness of this information.
All right, so here's where I say my good night to all of you. Good night, and thank you very much for being a part of Constructive Talk this week. I think this week was a good week. All right, this week was a good week. We had a really good discussions this week. So again, let me thank Mayor Chinua Allen for coming on Monday. He was fantastic. After that, we had Commander Dindial. Commander Dindial always does a fantastic job. You know, yesterday when I did it all by my lonesome self, and this evening we would have held Kelvin Morris, a young man who is vying for the political leadership on Tobago. And next week we're going to have Ms. Jamfa Kojo and You know, so keep it locked. Also, my member of parliament is looking to come on next week to give us some good information about the OPR and how does it work and the laws where OPR is concerned. So, bid you good night. Please be safe. Enjoy your weekend. Spend time with your family. Also, I beg of you, take some time to give God your best praise. Have a good evening. Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension, the world. Love you guys. Thank you very much for your support.